I think that it's always important to pay attention to how Bitcoin has been acting because, of course, when it comes to the world of cryptocurrency, you really have to pay attention to the big dog, which is Bitcoin, the first cryptocurrency to really establish the concept of digital currencies in the public consciousness. So moving forward, what happens to Bitcoin is it goes without saying that we're going to see real shockwaves being sent through the entirety of cryptocurrency community when it comes to Bitcoin. And but there's also a lot of really exciting news that's being released regarding Bitcoin lately, and it really is an indication that we are probably going through a time that could really be historical for cryptocurrency in general. I mean, looking at where the current market cap is at that 378, and then of course where we were just lately, there are a lot of variables that need to come into collaboration respectively when we see Bitcoin's activity lately. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who see this slight downward momentum, and I know that a lot of people were watching this upward momentum as well for quite some time, and I understand it could play with your emotions, and of course all these different voices out there saying different things regarding these technologies. It is it's a tough space, and education really is key when it comes to cryptocurrency and so forth, which is why, you know, we're trying to build these different communities on all these different platforms and so forth. I'd recommend everybody go and follow me on my Twitter, just because we try to stay up to date regarding all these technologies and so forth. But yeah, it is interesting to see how things have been developing and moving forward regarding Bitcoin and the possibilities that are in store for these technologies and so forth. And Bitcoin really is front and center at this really big paradigm shift that's going to be bringing so many different variables into the light. So just looking at the different Twitter regarding Bitcoin, it is interesting to see the different conversations. I mean, people are talking about bearish in market and versus bullish market, of course, and a lot of the regular memes regarding Bitcoin. But what I was going to talk about today is the fact that CCN is actually talking about how the possibility from JP Morgan Trader, which is a possibility that Bitcoin could be reaching its all-time highs. And of course, we've seen this before with these really high-profile, basically analysts releasing these sort of articles that say that there's big things in store for them. The famous John McAfee basically claims, where he was talking about how I believe he said he'd eat his penis if Bitcoin didn't reach like a really high number valuation. Like, these things are interesting because there really is something behind cryptocurrency. It's an unprecedented paradigm shift, and it's difficult for some people to see how this sort of variable is going to be playing itself out moving forward, and seeing the next levels of society, and how the new generation of people are going to be reacting to these different variables as they continue to exert themselves. But of course, there is a reason why Bitcoin is number one. I think that moving forward, there is a huge potential for Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin clout has really been expanding, even in the light of the current situation with the market. I find that it's important to think back to when Bitcoin was at its all-time highs of around $20,000, and think about how much news was being released regarding Bitcoin. Everybody was talking about it, and then as soon as it dips down below its all-time highs, people are counting it out, calling it trash, calling it tulip mania. And of course, I think that it's important to I stay interested in it every single day, regardless of where it is, because I see the when it's down, I see that as a sale. When it's up, I see that as an opportunity, another sort of opportunity. So it really comes down to the mentality of the person who's getting themselves involved with cryptocurrency and so forth. But overall, it is important to pay attention to these different variables as they've been expanding themselves and so forth. And Yeah, I mean, if anybody has any questions and so forth, definitely make sure that you contact us on the show on Twitter. The link is in the description down below. But yeah, it is important to pay attention. But of course, I'm actually going to be including a link to this video right here by The Moon, which is talking about how Bitcoin has the ability to be worth $17,000, and he provides a really interesting analysis. I find that looking at the people who read the graphs, sometimes I find the graphs are a waste of time. It really depends on the person, and but this individual really has a interesting way of drawing these sort of curvatures and so forth, and reading the potential in terms of trajectory and so forth. So I'll definitely be including a link to that video down in the description below for anybody who's interested in watching a 16-minute and 43-second piece of content that really goes into detail exploring the potential that's in store for Bitcoin. But I think an upward momentum, just like the one that a lot of people have been talking about, really is in store for what we've been looking forward to. I think it's exactly what Bitcoin needs. And of course, once we see Bitcoin breaking out of the current trends that it's been in, well, then it's going to be completely open season for all the other cryptocurrencies out there. So there is a lot of potential overall. I know a lot of people don't necessarily love it when I talk about Bitcoin, because it seems like everybody talks about Bitcoin, but of course I think that it's really important to pay attention to how every single cryptocurrency is going to be acting in the future. And when I look at this list of cryptocurrencies and I look at the current situation with the global market cap, I think we're entering sort of a perfect storm when it comes to the public conversation that's happening regarding data, and the public conversation that's happening regarding how these technologies are going to be implementing themselves. And of course, I understand there are better cryptocurrencies out there than Bitcoin, probably better options for a global currency, but you have to understand that the branding is everything, and the fact that Bitcoin has managed to establish itself so far and take us to this point, I think that it's really within a realm of possibility to see Bitcoin acting in a similar way and introducing this global. I mean, we see Bitcoin being used by people all around the world, and it is very interesting to see how this technology has been advancing and moving forward in regards to the possibilities that are in store. So I would say that right now we're going through somewhat of a healthy correction when it involves the current trends that are happening with cryptocurrency, and I think that Bitcoin is really right at the center of it. But of course, you have to remember, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is not financial advice. This is for entertainment, educational purposes only. Remember, I'm not your dad. The whole purpose of this content is me sharing my opinion regarding cryptocurrencies and so forth. And I'd recommend that everybody go and do your own research when it comes to these things. I wouldn't just let one YouTuber sway your decision one way or another. But of course, I would say anybody who's been interested in cryptocurrencies for any amount of time, you certainly should be paying attention to what's been happening with Bitcoin. In particular today, there is a lot of really interesting, I mean, Bitcoin mining to use 0.5% of world's energy by end of 2018. See, this is something that people don't realize about cryptocurrency mining, is the fundamental fact that it takes energy, it takes electricity to keep these technologies in existence, and it doesn't take electricity to keep it doesn't take electricity to keep fiat paper money in existence, because it's just paper money. But digital currencies require electricity in order. So that actually it goes, when people try to tell you that Bitcoin's worth nothing, it is in fact worth more than fiat currency, because it requires this energy source. So when I hear these sort of articles that are talking about how Bitcoin is being used and how it is influencing the amount of energy being used by the world, this is another sign that moves towards mass adoption. It's another sign that really supports the value of cryptocurrencies and shows the potential that's in store for the space. And I'm definitely really excited. Dad, what's good, homie? How's it going, my friend? And yeah, it is interesting to be seeing. Yeah, I'm interested in how Bitcoin is acting in the future, and I think that the potential to see Bitcoin as the one world currency, because it's definitely going to be a cryptocurrency. If the powers that be are at all smart, they'll definitely understand, and of course they definitely have their shit together. They know that a digital currency is far more superior than the old guard of ways that things had been functioning. And moving forward, it is definitely really exciting to see how Bitcoin has been establishing itself in the media, and how the public has been sort of gravitating towards this thing. And honestly, I remember back when Bitcoin was the price of an Xbox, back when you could get Bitcoin for a few $100s, and even before that, I remember back when it was very, very cheap. Let's just say really shows my age, because Bitcoin's come a long way, and seeing it at that $8,000 mark, it's really crazy. It's amazing how far things can go in a short amount of time. So don't count any of these technologies out. There is a lot of potential moving forward for the space in totality. And yeah, it will be the gold of the one world government, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, moving forward, I think that it is interesting to see how the general consensus confab field. Yeah, so I mean, obviously there's going to be the number of articles out there that are talking shit about Bitcoin and so forth, and it's basically just comes with the territory. But I guarantee you that as soon as we start seeing some real activity, we start seeing Bitcoin flexing its muscles and showing off the potential that's in store for it. The fact of the matter is that blockchain technology is superior to anything that's been happening up until this point. So it really doesn't matter what people think about it. That only matters to a certain degree. But when it comes to the totality of where things are moving, there's an obvious trend that points towards the major possibilities of seeing Bitcoin really being positioned in that position where it definitely could see a lot more usages across the board. I mean, they have Bitcoin ATMs all over the place now too. So it is interesting. Yeah, and I'm just going to talk to the chat for a little bit while, thanks for all the information. Yeah, no problem. And yeah, I mean, so all that being said, I also want to know what you guys think about these technologies as well. So make sure that you share your opinions in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.